Welcome back in to Locked On Wrestling. I am your host, Josh. Showtime been done. Call me what you want. And we are here tonight to recap a little bit of Smackdown. And I really want to know when John Cena is going full heel. I'm tired of promo battles, rap battles, whatever you want to call them, roast battles, I should say. And we've been getting a lot of that. So, kind of wondering when we're going to get on to something else. So, usually here on Sunday Night Heat, I'll have my co-host, Kevin, would be with me, but he had a family emergency, so he won't be here tonight. So we wish him nothing but the best with that. Keep him in your thoughts. But yeah, so we'll get right into it. Nothing too special tonight. We hope everybody out there's having a good night as we roll along here post-Mania. Kind of want to put the Mania stuff to bed. Feel like we've beat it with a dead horse here on this channel, and not to mention all over YouTube and all over the wrestling community. It's really been beaten to death. The whole Rock Triple H feud, what's really going on behind the scenes. Rock came out on McAfee and tried to paint some rosy picture of how things are great, and all that. But I think we've all weren't born yesterday, so we know there's heat of some sort going on behind the scenes for sure. So that's something we will may or may not get into a little bit deeper here tonight. Kind of want to put to bed because it doesn't really matter anymore. It's over. We're on the backlash. We're moving forward. We've already got some storylines picking up there that we'll go over tonight. First and foremost being John Cena. John Cena came out the other night, and I'm going to read on, just really use the recap from Bleacher Report to kind of use here as reference as we read along here. But first, if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that like for me. Hit that subscribe button for me. It means a whole heck of a lot if you do that. And also use the chat. Say hello. Ask a question. No super chats needed. We're not quite there yet for things like that. So just definitely, if you have anything you want to add, be sure to do that. And I'll definitely read it off here on the podcast. But welcome to Sunday Night Heat again. And again, I am your host, Josh. So let's dive right into that Smackdown recap. Smackdown opened, of course, with the announcement of the Triple Threat ladder match, TLC match that would come later on in that evening. And then once they kind of entering the arena, they love doing this nowadays with WWE. They love doing this. We're going to show them entering the arena like this is an NBA game. Like this is the NFL. They're in their nice clothes, their high-dollar suits and whatnot, and they're walking on in. And I actually hate this. I hate it so much. I definitely like to harken back to the old days of wrestling, and that's just not what that is, as we know. So, we get them entering the arena, so we're seeing them in all their drip and all that bull crap that offers really nothing to the product itself, but that's what we're getting there on that. So we move along there, and then we get Cena. He's coming out. And, some fans here are pro Cena, and some of them are anti-Cena. We see that. It's kind of a chorus of boos, chorus of cheers. They were over in Fort Worth, Texas, and they seem to be split. The crowd itself, and I'll kind of touch on this real quick, kind of back and forth. They had their moments, but it's not really up to the crowd to just be going bonkers from start to finish of these shows. They're not good shows, and we'll get into a lot of that here in a minute when it comes to SmackDown. There were some really poor parts of it. But I'm so sick and tired of reading on the internet, this crowd sucks, or that crowd, they're going bonkers. Like, it's not up to the crowd. It's up to the talent to make them go bonkers. Because I can tell you what, right here in this opening segment with Cena and Orton, they were into it. It definitely felt like to me they were into it from what I've seen. So, now before the 17-time champion could even say a single word, Randy Orton's music interrupts. We hear voices in our heads. They come to me. They understand. They talk to me. Orton gave Cena a little bit of advice. But in the end, he told him he needs to have some kids so he could get back to who he really is. John Cena, you got to have children. Got a little personal. Cena, of course, has no kids of his own. And Cena lets everybody know he doesn't have kids because he spent the last 25 years raising everyone else's kids. which got a nice little reaction. And then, of course, he makes fun of a little kid at ringside who actually flipped him off, which would prove John Cena's point there. So we saw that. Now, they talked for quite some time, and Sega dug his heels in. You know, he mocked the crowd for not being loyal and labeling him as an outcast for not focusing solely on WWE. I mean, maybe there was a small contingency that was giving Cena crap at some point in time about, you know, going to Hollywood or something like that. I don't know. I don't feel like anybody did. I felt like by the time he decided to roll into Hollywood, he'd pretty much done and held down the WWE for quite some time. You know, to the point we hated him. You know? It's not like Rock. You know, people were pissed and, you know, weren't fans of Rock's coming and goings back in the day. Because, well, yeah, Rock was only on top for what? 2 years? You could say 4. He was very popular, really on top for 2, maybe 3. Depending on what your definition of on top is. So, you know, Cena using that as some reason, fine. I don't think he was labeled an outcast for not focusing solely on WWE. I think we were fine with him leaving when he did. We had enough superstars to take over. We had enough people to push the product. But as it was known and reported, and obviously everybody kind of figured coming out of Monday Night Raw last week after the RKO, Orton would challenge Cena to a title match at Backlash in his hometown of St. Louis, Missouri. And if you're me, you could see it miles away. Orton's not winning that match. I'm hoping it's a good match. I hope it's a lot better than what we got with Cody and Cena at Mania. I think it will be. I think Cena will still likely need to be carried somewhat. But I think Orton can do a much better job of that. But Orton actually challenged him to a match that night, Friday night, on Smackdown. And, of course, Cena said no, much to the dismay of the crowd in Fort Worth, Texas, which they should have known. They ain't doing it tonight. Not for us. Those people down in Fort Worth, no thank you. And then Cena ends up tossing that title at Orton just to distract him enough so he could attack. I like this. You know, that's like a real fight. Throw something at him, then hit him. Kind of throw him off guard. Orton ducked another shot from the belt and hit an RKO. And then he would pose with the title to end the segment. You know, seeing, this is nothing new, guys. I mean, Cena and Orton been doing this for a long time. You know, I see a lot of people going, oh, nostalgia. And I'm sure it is for people 10 years younger than me. But I was a grown adult by the time these guys were feuding. But it was still cool to see them in there doing their thing. But this kind of brings my point of the topic of the video here is, when are we going to see John Cena go truly heel? You know, mic battles, promo battles, roast battles, whatever you want to call this. This isn't heel work. It's heel mic work, sure. But when are we going to see Cena? We have not seen him truly go heel since the night of Elimination Chamber in that beatdown of Cody. Cody Rhodes, that's the last time. Or the only time we've truly seen heel work. Unless you want to, take in the whole Finish of Mania's match. But I've yet to see viciousness out of Cena, which I want to see. It's just been a mic battle every week. Boring. I want story. I just do. I'm not saying it's necessarily bad, but I want a lot more out of this. I think we could get a lot more out of this. You know, we'll go ahead and skip ahead on this, but later in the evening, we would see R-Truth walk by and do a little comedy spot with Cena. And Cena just rolls his eyes and walks away from R-Truth, which is fine. But it's garbage. It's fine garbage. Why not beat the shit out of R-Truth? That's heat. People like R-Truth. Yeah, I get it. He's silly. He's funny. So why not beat him mercilessly? What else is he doing? Help use R-Truth to stoke the heel flame for Cena. Because right now, he's an unbelievable heel. He's a guy looking like he's trying to pretend to be a heel. I want to see more out of that. Hopefully we will. We'll see. We only got a very, very short build here to Backlash, as we know. So moving on with SmackDown, we get Fraxium versus Las Garzas. Now, I must admit, I did not even see this match. Fraxium, of course, is an NXT call-up tag team. Which tag team division in WWE right now is on life support. It is non-existent. Non-existent. Which is sad. It's really been non-existent going on 20 years. If you want to keep it real with the tag team division. I know Usos held it for a while and tried to make something there. And it had its moments, I guess. But my God. We have not had quality tag team wrestling in what feels like decades in the WWE. Now, this match was pretty good. You know, it ends in a combo Spanish fly to a 450 splash scored by Fraxium, and they get the win there. So they had a good debut, good win. What will it mean? Will it matter? We got to do something for this tag team division. We'll get on that a little bit more. Triple H, WWE had a great chance for that at Mania, and they bypassed it in lieu of doing our main event here on SmackDown instead of putting that main event in Mania. And maybe that's complete hindsight. I don't know. I don't know if those guys get the same amount of time on Mania, which is insane to me that every match doesn't have damn near a 30-minute limit they can go on. It's 2 nights. There were so many matches on Mania, there were 8 minutes. Like 9 minutes, 10 minutes. It's like, my God. We had so much more time to give these competitors, and we didn't do that. That's okay. Whatever. If that's how they want to do it, then whatever. It's garbage, though. And then here, so we'll move on past that. Because I really have nothing left to say about the tag team division. There's really nothing to get me excited about the tag team division. You had Rusev come up Monday Night Raw, scare away your Raw tag team champions like they were bitches, and completely destroy the other tag team in Alpha Academy on Monday. So I don't know what we're doing with the tag team division. I want to get excited about tag team wrestling again. But it doesn't seem like WWE shares those same sentiments as us in the crowd, so we'll continue riding that out. We'll continue monitoring that. Hopefully something gets better. I don't know. We'll find out. And then after a short break, we'll get Tiffany Stratton comes to the ring to celebrate her big win over Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 41. But it didn't take long for Jade Cargill, of all people, to butt in and ruin the evening. For a little Tiffy. Interrupts her. Lays down a god-awful promo. Who said, yeah, Jade, go cut a promo? She can't. She's not good on the mic. She's really not good at much of anything. Other than looking good. You can't take that from her. She looks amazing. She looks the part. She looks the part of a main event woman in WWE, for sure. But she can't do any of the main event stuff right. She can't talk on the mic. You can tell she's visibly trying to remember what she's been told to say instead of speaking from the heart, speaking as someone that gives a shit about the business. Because she's never in the business. She never cared about the business. That's why she cannot even pretend to be someone that should be in the business at this point. And all the people, and myself and buddies included, saying, man, wouldn't she make a great Storm in an X-Men movie? Well, my God, she can't act. So that ship's sailing really quick after this promo Friday night. And Tiffany's already a green champion. Let's get her. Let's shoot it straight. Tiffany's already pretty green. Now, I didn't hate her match at Mania with Charlotte as much as a lot of people did, Dave Meltzer included, and we can get into that later. I didn't think it was that bad as people made it out to be. Kind of was what I expected it to be. But then you take your greenhorn champion and put her against another super greenhorn in Jade Cargill for Friday Night SmackDown. Terrible. What are we thinking? And then, hell, we even had botches in this match. Tiffany botched her moonsault. When she was going for it, at least. She hit it, but she was going for it. And then, of course, Naomi. To make matters worse, and we ain't even made matters worse in this whole segment just yet, Naomi's going to run down. And she's going to break it all up. She's going to attack Jade, so that's not over with, which fine. Let them trade wins and losses. But my God, I got a bone to pick with Naomi. I've read a lot of people saying they really like Naomi. They like this work they've seen out of her lately with the heel turn. And I didn't, again, that's another match I didn't really hate at Mania. How long has Naomi been in this business now? At least in the WWE card. 15 years? Easily? I mean, she was on the inaugural season of Total Divas. That's how long, that's been a long time ago. That's going back to 2011, 2012. Well, she gets in the ring at one point doing what all I can see is supposed to be ground and pound. And proceeds to do some of the worst. It's offensive how bad this ground and pound sequence was from her. You would never know she's been in WWE for 15 years. You'd never have a clue. She wrestles like she's green. Those punches were abysmal. They did nothing to move the needle on that rivalry. I say lay some stiff ones in. Do something as a heel to get heat. There was no heat there. She ran in just going. This is how she was ground and pounding. It was awful. And the camera zoomed in on it. You see not one of these shots is even coming close to landing. Not close. Thanks, Justin Self, for the epic poster in the background. It's alright. I'm not a huge fan of Cody Rhodes, but whatever. I like the poster. Got it for free at GameStop because they were about to throw it in the trash. I just walked up at the right time. But Naomi can, just... I don't want to hear anything else. I'd rather never see her on TV ever again. Like, that was so disgusting of a display. And it's hurt. That hurts the product. That hurts the women's division when you come out and do moves like that, or you come out and you try to sell that. That's awful. That makes me go, oh yeah. That's why I've never seemed to care about the women's division. You got a couple people: Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Asuka, Charlotte. Guess we can throw Becky in there. No, I'm not a huge fan of her work either. But it's a lot better than what we just saw in Naomi. Make me believe. Because I was actually kind of on an upward trend for Naomi and for Jade leaving Mania. And man, they went right back to the toilet with me after this segment. You can let me know how you feel in the comments, but man, thought that was really disappointing. And then, as if all this isn't bad enough, Nia Jax shows up to attack Tiffany a few moments later. My God, haven't we seen enough of these two wrestling? I've seen enough of Nia Jax to last me 5 lifetimes. She's not good. I don't care about her. I get she's related to The Rock, and that's probably why she's in her spot that she's in. It's like his daughter on NXT. They're terrible. They're awful. She's awful. She's not believable. She's not scary. She's not formidable. She's none of these things. She's just another lackluster performer when they have so much to work with in the women's division that these are the two you're using right now. Tiffany's young green. She's going to get better. And I actually like her. I'm not mad at her. But Naomi, Nia, and I ain't going to include Jade in that. She's too green. She's still learning too. But man, we've seen enough. We have seen enough. I feel like every Mania, this is what I'm doing. I'm riding high off a Mania, regardless if it's good or bad. They've done something to make me go, okay, let's see where we're headed now. Let's see what we can do. And then they do this with the WWE Women's title. So right now, definitely more intrigue going on Raw with the women's division, without a doubt. This was SmackDown's chance to show some intrigue, but man, they're going right back to where we were. We've already done this. We've done this. Nia, Tiffany, we've done this. Where's Charlotte? She just got beat. She ain't mad about it. She don't want to show back up and say, hey, I want another rematch. I want a shot at Backlash. You got lucky, Tiff. Are they gonna push that towards SummerSlam? We get a rematch then? Okay, maybe. You can't dig up somebody else back there that can do better than Nia Jax? No NXT girls to come up? Maybe do even if you copied the segment straight up from Raw, have an NXT girl come up and do a 2 or 3 segment match with Tiffy. Because this was bad. This was so bad. Then moving along, we'll get Jacob Fatu comes out with Solo Sikoa. After the break, just to celebrate his United States Championship win over LA Knight at WrestleMania. We like Fatu. He's gonna be a star in this company. I don't know if you ever turn him baby, or if you can. Don't care. Just want to see him and see him continue to do well because he's good on the mic too. We'd see a little of that tonight. He forgot to wear his jersey right. I'm sure it was the style he was going for, but it was really bothersome to a older man like myself to see him wear his Raiders jersey completely backwards. So Sikoa said nobody in his family wanted Fatu in the WWE except for him. He took credit for Fatu not only being in the WWE, but for his title win too. Not sure how he took credit for that. But Fatu would rip the mic away from him and said he did exactly what he said he was going to do by winning it. He said he was going to win that U.S. title, and he did. In a great match at Mania. I'm sorry. We'll get into the star ratings later, but that was a really good match. LA Knight comes out and gave him credit for beating him fair in the middle of the ring, but said it wouldn't happen again. Surprisingly, Drew McIntyre comes out next. What a falling star. Look, kids, a falling star. Drew McIntyre. His stock has plummeted over the last year. Especially after leaving the Punk rivalry. He has just plummeted. The former world champion bragged about beating Damian Priest and complained about Orton jumping the line ahead of him for a WWE title shot. Well, then take that up with Orton, Drew. Take that up with Orton. What's that got to do with the U.S. title scene? Nick Aldis would then come out and offer to book a match between Knight and McIntyre with the winner getting the U.S. title shot. The crowd loved this idea. Now, it was an entertaining segment and did set up a few directional points here. Because you've got Fatu and Knight. Knight looking for a rematch. You've got Drew, who's just floundering around divisions, trying to find a home. So the crowd chants Fatu's name after his music stopped, and that was a cool moment. Yeah, it was. They really liked Fatu. But again, I don't see that belt leaving Fatu for quite a while. I think a lot of our champs are here to stay for a minute. Maybe Jey-Uso's probably the first one to drop. But they're going to try to strap a rocket to Fatu right now, and I can see him holding that U.S. title for quite a while until it just makes no sense not to anymore. And then we have to slide him into that main event scene. So moving on, we get Chelsea Green versus Zelina Vega. Another belt absent from Mania is the women's U.S. title. I know everybody likes Chelsea Green. I don't think she's terrible. I just don't care. And they'd have a match here tonight with Vega going over to be the new women's U.S. title holder. I don't give a shit. I'm going to take my dip out. But yeah, I really don't care. That was a little, yeah, I agree. It was a surprising title change. I don't think anybody saw it coming. But then I'm seeing some tweets here this weekend from Chelsea Green acting as if she's done with WWE, like she's leaving. She may be just be going on a sabbatical. I don't know where she's going to go. GCW, isn't she with Zack Ryder? Niven and these people that no one cares about, these bottom tier women wrestlers came out, made a squash. I don't care about this. I don't care about this belt. Honest to God. Didn't even know it was a belt. Didn't know it was something they even had. But they do, as we know, and so we see that happen, and congratulations to Zelina Vega for winning something. Because, man, I thought she was on fire after, what was it, Backlash last year? Or 2 years ago, whenever it was. But she had that great match with Rhea in Puerto Rico. Now here she is, picking this one up. But, hey, if we can give some light to the division, I'm fine with it. But this is where Jade needs to be. Like, why do we got Jade out there talking to the women's champ? What has she done? It makes more sense for a Vega or a Chelsea Green to be talking to Tiff, trying to set up matches with Tiff. Not Jade Cargill. She should be down here in the U.S. title picture. Look what they're doing with Fatu. Is he up there challenging Cody? Is he challenging Cena, Jey-Uso? No. He's in the U.S. title picture, and that's probably where he should be. I may go a step further, so he could probably be good enough to be in the IC title picture already, but that's okay. They're going to take their time with that. He'll be one of the top guys in the next couple of years, I'm sure. Oh, my teeth, boy. Woo. Then we get the return of Aleister Black. Now, I'm going to shoot you guys straight. I didn't see a lot of his WWE NXT run. A lot of you did. I did see some of his AEW run and was just like, Wasn't my cup of tea at the time. But hey, I'm willing to give this guy a shot. I love the entrance. The coffin entrance was really dope. The crowd chanted, "Welcome back," as Black stood up and took off his jacket. He would go on to nail Miz with the black mask without saying a word, and then sat in the ring while his music began to play. It was a pretty simple segment for sure, yeah. And now he's back in the picture, but where does he land? What division? We're sure talking divisions with the women. Where does this guy land? U.S. title division? IC? Can't imagine he's in the world title picture. I say slide this guy in there, let him. Well, okay, so the way I'm looking at this right now, I'd say IC. Because, I mean, you just send him to, if you send him over to U.S. title picture. He's just going to get eat up by Fatu. Or Drew. Or Priest. LA Knight, maybe. I don't know where he lands on SmackDown. Honestly. IC's over on Raw, so that's really his only home. Unless they debut a tag partner at some point. But we shall see. We shall see where they go this time with him. Then we get this LA Knight Drew McIntyre match. We get multiple DQ finishes on the same show. It's never ideal, but it was clearly done to set up a multi-man match for the U.S. title at Backlash. I think everybody kind of saw that when you're watching this match. So that's what we're going to get there, and that's fine. I'm not against it. I don't think Fatu loses the belt, of course. But I think they can have a good match at Backlash. So we'll go ahead and pencil that in for Backlash. Fatal 4-way for the U.S. title. This Priest would come out here, get involved. LA Knight gets involved. We don't get a clear-cut winner, so I'm sure next week we'll get a Knight versus Priest. Same thing will happen next week, and that's likely when the match gets set by Nick Aldis for Backlash. And then we'll get the TLC match, and I should have prefaced by saying this, that I didn't really get to watch a ton of SmackDown Friday night. I had to do a little catch-up on some of the other stuff, but this was a good match. This was a good match. I saw a lot of people online venting frustration of why wasn't this match on Mania, and I agree. Why wasn't it? Other than maybe time constraint, as far as like how much time they'd be given to do this TLC match on Mania versus the time given on SmackDown, which is stupid. Got 8 hours of WrestleMania. We can't squeeze this bad boy in. I could think of 3 matches we could have cut for Mania and put this one on and let them have 20 minutes. Jade Naomi off the top. New Day off the top. You could have sent New Day to the SmackDown. Nobody cares about New Day anymore. That's tired. You turned them heel. Sure, great. Way too late. No one's cared in years about New Day, and this didn't help with this turn. Obviously, we have Uso and Gunther on the main event to start the show. Fine. Then this could have been the second match. Night 1 could have used it. Granted, I liked Night 1. A lot of people hated Night 1. I didn't think it was near as bad as people act like it was. I thought it built up over the night. But, man, if you'd have had this match, too, the match we got on SmackDown, I'll say, if they have the same match as they did on SmackDown on Mania Night 1, it boosts the overall view of Night 1, for sure, yeah. I can't disagree with that. It was a great match. The Street Profits would defeat DIY and Motor City Machine Guns to claim the belts. So good for them. And that's how they did in the show. That's all we got for that, for SmackDown. So brief recap. Probably go a little bit more in depth next week with next week's SmackDown when I have my co-host back with me. Then old Dave Meltzer. Match ratings for WrestleMania 41 were released the other day. On Friday, I believe, is when they were released. And we'll pop through these real quick. So I'll just kind of give you my star ratings along with his in comparison. Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments. Hey, if you're new to the channel, I'd really appreciate a subscribe. Like and follow for sure. Would definitely mean a lot to me over here on Locked On Wrestling. So, Uncle Dave. So, Night 1, he goes ahead and he says JO2 defeats Gunther to win the World Heavyweight Championship. He gave that 3 3/4 stars. Disagree. I'll go 2 3/4. I did not think the match was that good. A lot of people, even friends of mine, thought it was great. I, respectfully declined that. Mostly because I think they worked bad. I think I said it on the podcast the other night. I just thought we left Gunther looking a little weak. Unless that's what they're going for. If that's what they're going for, then they, slam dunk. Because you had him get tapped out by Jey Uso of all people. And not only did he get tapped out, he got tapped out like so fast. Gunther didn't even sell that he was a strong guy, that it's going to take a lot more to get him down than this. Yeah. So I'll say 2 3/4. The second match, the New Day defeats the War Raiders to win the World Tag Team Championships. Like I said earlier, this could have been on SmackDown. This could have been on, to go back in time, this could have been on Saturday Morning Superstars. That's how little I cared about this match. And I think the entire city of Las Vegas felt the same way. No one cared. It took up a spot. He gives it 2 3/4. I give it 1 star. It was dog shit. No one cared. I've watched that match back, the live, of course, Live Mania, and then I watched it back a couple days later again, thinking maybe there was more to it. Nah, it sucked worse the second time, actually. I was higher on it the first time. Second time, I was like, oh my God, why did they even put this on the card? It's like a Vince McMahon freaking card with this match. Then the third match, Jade Cargill defeating Naomi, 2 stars. Okay, I can get with that. That's about where it needed to be. Wasn't bad, wasn't good. Kind of right there in the middle of the road, so don't hate that. Fourth match was Jacob Fatu defeating LA Knight to win the United States Championship. Dave Meltzer gave it 3 3/4 stars. Not wrong. I could go even 4, maybe, because I thought it was pretty good. I loved that it was like a moonsault turned into that stunner move that LA Knight does. I can't think of the name of it right now. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was a dope. It almost made me think he was going to win the match. Until you see Fatu's eyes literally looking at the rope. Like he knew he was about to grab it, and he did. So I don't hate that rating. Now here's one where I do have a bone to pick. The fifth match of the card, El Grande Americano defeats Rey Fenix 2 3/4. I'm sorry, but I like this match. Tell me if you believe. I thought this was a pretty good match, folks. Am I wrong? This is probably the one in the night after that Fatu match where I go, all right, now we're picking up. Maybe one's starting to get better. That 450 splash into the senton or whatever the hell you want to call that. Wow, that was a dope move by Americano. That's who he is. It ain't Chad Gable. I'm tired of hearing this. This is not Chad Gable wrestling, folks. That's El Grande Americano. And what a move, man. So I totally disagree with Meltzer on this. I would have went 3 3/4 on this one, too. I thought it was a lot better than he's giving it credit for. Have we seen better Rey Fenix matches? Well, of course we have. But I thought this was pretty good. The sixth match of the night would be Tiffany Stratton defeating Charlotte Flair to retain her WWE Women's Championship. Meltzer gave it 1 3/4. Now, I, again, will disagree here. I've seen people really trashing this match online. They hated it. I've seen it twice now. I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was that bad. It's about as I expected it to be. It was physical from the start. But any match that makes me go, I don't really know who's going to win here. I like that. You got the Queen, she has reigned supreme over that women's division for a decade now. Even back into her NXT days, she reigned supreme on it. And she's going up against this greenhorn champion and Tiffany, who's getting better and better. I don't think she's bad by any stretch, but you really expected to see what I saw. But I didn't know who was going to win, which left the finish exciting to me. So I think a 1 3/4 is too low. If you still want to be down on it, fine, but I'd say at least 2 3/4. Because I didn't hate it. I honest to God did not hate that match. I may be in the minority and I'll stay there. That's fine. And again, if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe, hit that like. It means a lot to us here. Here I'm doing this every week. I want to keep doing this. I want to make it worthwhile. I want to include you guys into the show too. I want to make it a community. So definitely hit that subscribe for me. It doesn't hurt to do it. I won't even ask you to hit the bell. Just hit the subscribe. And then, of course, our main event of the evening, Seth Rollins defeating Roman Reigns and CM Punk, obviously with the help of Paul Heyman. Dave gave this 4 3/4. I don't know what else you want out of a match, Dave. Because he will go, and I'm skipping ahead here, he's going to go ahead and give 5 stars to the women's match the next night, the triple threat that opened the show. And I'm not going to dispute that at all either. But this match was better than that match. And for not only on time, they got more time, but the whole swerve, it had story. It meant something. And I've heard Dave on his podcast and things like that saying, well, that's what I put into it. Like, does it mean something? Is there story going with it? Blah, blah. It was cinema. It was a really well-worked match. A lot of false finishes, more than I really liked there at the end with the finishers, but it wasn't bad. And then you had this huge swerve. Whether you saw it coming or not, I actually called it. I called Heyman going with Rollins like a week or two prior on an episode of Raw. But it should have been a 5-star. And that's got to be sour grapes on Dave's part towards Punk, towards one of them. Because I think they've all probably dissed him in some sort of form or fashion. Because there's really no excuse. That's a 5-star match. It was a great match, start to finish. Gave you a little bit of everything you like out of a match. Then you had just the cinema there at the end with the turn. I left night 1 abuzz. Wow, what a match. What a turn. Can't wait for night 2. I'm invested in WWE again. To the point I want to start a channel. That's how invested I was. Let me start a channel. I want to talk about this stuff. So I don't know what all you got to do. I guess if they were in the Tokyo Dome, this is a 5-star match. I guess if Kenny or the Bucks or anybody associated with All Elite Wrestling is involved in this match, then bam, they're going to get everybody but CM Punk, right? They're getting 5 stars. So I don't know. I disagree there. You can let me know your thoughts in the comments and hit that subscribe button. And then night 2 of Meltzer's ratings, we're going to have, again, I jumped ahead earlier, but Io Sky defeating Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley in the triple threat for the Women's World Championship. 5 stars. I don't disagree. But again, this one really had no story. You know, it was more Rhea, Bianca, and Io was like, hey, guys, I'm the champ too. You know, hey. That was your story. Now, they worked a hell of a match. They worked hard. It was a good match. I've seen it twice now as well. Loved it both times. Have no problems with giving it 5 stars. But if you're giving this one 5 stars, you should have gave the one the night before 5 stars too. That's the only way. I think it offered more than this did in the end. But good on the ladies. Glad they got that. In hindsight, they probably should have closed this fucking Mania. They should have gave them an extra 10 to 15 minutes and let them close out the show. Because then you're in 6-star range probably. Or actually gave them a solid build to Mania. Something we didn't really get. Moving along. So second match on the night is Drew McIntyre defeated Baron Priest in a Sin City Street Fight. 4 1/4. I'd say 3 stars. I didn't like this that much. I'm not a Priest guy. I don't think he can. He's not a good. I don't think he's a good worker. I like Drew enough, but I give this match 3 stars. There was a spot that pissed me off in this match, and you probably noticed it. How could you have not? But there was some move where Priest goes falling back onto the tables to the outside, and as he's falling back, he literally does this to protect himself. Falling backwards. No, bro. No. Take the bump. You're at freaking WrestleMania. You got to throw it on all the stops. You got to make it look good. It looked like he was jumping off the fucking high dive into the pool. I did not like that spot. Like I said, you're at Mania. Throw out all the stops, man. I never once saw Jeff Hardy or Edge, Christian, Dudley Boys doing that, going in through tables. Did y'all? Because I certainly didn't. Like, just take the bump, man. It just goes back to these guys don't love this. They're not willing to sacrifice. Like Mick Foley would sacrifice because he fucking loved this shit. This is them like, my football career's over. I guess I'll do this now. That's why you get these this weak shit like we're seeing. When he finally says, he's talking about Cena, finally says, screw this, he says, yeah! Screw those kids with cancer. Why not? Say it. Build a heel here, man. And it's really not about saying stuff. That's what the whole point of that was earlier, and I'm sorry if you missed that. But beat somebody up. Bloody somebody. Run somebody over with a car. Do something that's heelish. Don't just talk and have roast battles. Do something heelish. They did that spot with R-Truth. I said it earlier. Great heat right there. What else is R-Truth doing? Nothing. Do a segment where he beats the brakes off of R-Truth. Bloodies him up in the backstage area. Maybe does it to a couple other people like that. Do something heelish. Not saying they got it. They can have a match. Or maybe there's really no point in having a match with Cena. Do something, though. You're going to have a match with Orton. Beat the hell out of Orton. Attack him in some way. Too bad your stable that was supposed to be The Rock and Travis Scott, I guess, we won't see them again for a while. Like, do something heelish. We have not seen something heelish out of Cena since he turned. Outside, maybe you want to call, hitting Cody with the belt to win the match. Heelish, sure, fine. It was. But that beat down to Cody, man, that's what you want to see. Rock gave it to us in his turn last year. He was beating up Cody in the rain. They had that part that was just really almost hard to watch where they're holding down Seth and Cody and beating him with that weight belt. Like this, let's see some of that from Cena. Let's see some real heel work from Cena. I'm not seeing it. I agree he can talk a great game. I agree he can cut a nasty promo. But show us heel work, man. Do something heelish. Get over. That's why nobody's buying it. That's why you're getting cheered when you still walk out. I get getting cheered at Raw after Mania. That's all the smart marks and that are my age. And yeah, they're always gonna cheer the heels. But now you're out of that. You're at the family venues. You're at the family shows. You should be getting booed out of the building. So do something to make them boo you. Not just be like, oh, I raised your kids. It was you, the fans, that made me do it. That's fine for one promo. You could have did that after Chamber, and that was your one promo to talk about that. But every promo has been like, oh, I'm doing this because of you fans, you kids. I've raised you kids. No, beat the fuck out of Randy. He RKO'd you the other night. Wait in the shadows for him to show up at the arena. Do something. We can write better than this. They have to have better writers. Obviously, none of the writers have ever been fans of pro wrestling. That should be like on the job interview on Indeed. Did you watch pro wrestling growing up? I did. What's your favorite heel turn? I don't know. 4 Horsemen double-crossing Dusty Rhodes and breaking his leg in the middle of the cage? Okay, to go way back. You want these people to be so angry they're ready to riot. They're not doing that, man. That's why everything was a bore leading to Mania. We were all like on the expectation of seeing a Rock show up, fuel that feud some. It didn't happen. And Cena didn't carry it as a heel. Sorry, he didn't. But getting back to these Meltzer star ratings, and thank you again for the question, Haida. Hit that subscribe, guys, if you hadn't yet. I see a lot of people coming in the chat. Thank you for being here. Hit that subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on these match ratings, too, from if you agree, disagree with what you saw from Meltzer. The third match on the card would be Dominic Mysterio defeating Finn Balor, Braun Breaker, and Penta to win the Intercontinental Championship. 4.25. I can get with that. It was a good match. I don't know where we're going with Dom here because the crowd at Mania, at Raw after Mania, loved him. We'll see what reaction he gets this week on Raw. Because like I said, we're away from the smart marks a little bit coming out of Mania. Let's see how the average crowd reacts to Dom. Are they still going to be booing? I'm sure creative's hoping that's the case. But I don't know where you're going right here in this Intercontinental title division. Because we obviously see Dominic going. They're planting the seeds there for Balor. Is he I don't know if they're going to pull the trigger on that now. I'd expect backlash maybe. is when we see that full split. I don't know if he's going to be wrestling Penta or Ray Phoenix. I'm assuming Penta gets another shot at Backlash. Penta's eventually winning that belt. I don't know when, but I hope they let Dom ride with it for a little while, because I just like him. I think most of us do. But 4.25 on that match. It was an entertaining match. I enjoyed it. I actually popped when he won, because I didn't really see that coming. I was like, oh, it'd be nice. It'd be cool to see Dom win, but I really didn't think it'd happen. I thought either Penta or Breaker was going over, which now we know why Breaker didn't. And then there's no rating on the Orton-Hendry match. As expected, it was pretty quick. More of a comedy spot. Give Hendry a little bit of a moment. Remind you Orton's still alive since Owens was injured and had to bail out of their angle. But then the next thing we'd see is Logan Paul defeating AJ Styles 3.25. Probably too high, honestly. I don't think the match was bad. I don't think they did anything bad. Still hadn't cared. There was little to no build on this match. And I hate it, man. I like AJ Styles. I always have. But I don't think he's ever truly had that Mania moment, that Mania match. I remember being so psyched years ago that him and Nakamura were going to get to... Because I love their Wrestle Kingdom match. They had a great match at Wrestle Kingdom. And I was disappointed to see that, not really be worked quite as well at Mania 34, I believe it was. But I think 3.5 stars, a little bit high here for Meltzer on this match, because, it was such a popcorn fart. Nobody cared. They didn't work bad. They worked great. That move that Lion Salt Paul did from one side of the ring completely the other. Holy cow, that was awesome. Dude's athletic. Say what you want to say about this guy. He can work. And then moving along, we get Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria, I can never say it right, defeating Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez to win the Women's Tag Championship. And then again, I'll jump ahead. This match got 2 stars at Mania. Probably about right. But then they do the same match the following night without explanation on Raw and turn the belts. Why not just turn Becky here? Why not have something happen where Liv and Raquel win and retain? And Becky, out of her frustration, because we're going to say Lyra is the one that's jacked up and let them win. Then right there at Mania, you see her get really frustrated and pissed and start a beatdown. And hey, if we're going to do it anyway, because I think they're going this way with it, I think Becky's going to end up aligning with Heyman and Seth, as she should. It makes sense. Her husband's a heel now. He's with the top heel manager. The only heel manager I think we have in this company. Then why not just let them kind of creep out there while she's doing this? Freaking out, turning, and just smiling from the ramp. Like, yeah. And then she makes eye contact with them and then walks up there after to meet them on the ramp. And Lyra's laying dead in the ring, kind of coming to, just looking like, oh my God. How did this just happen? Like, I'm in shock. Instead, we do this flip-flop thing, which I didn't like. And I don't know what the idea was there. Sell some merch out the door on Mania for Becky? I don't know. I don't know what goes in this thought process here. I guess we'll find out since they're exposing the whole business on Netflix here soon. Not that it's already not been completely exposed, but they're going to twist the knife even deeper. So that's what I'd do there on that. Like, I think that makes Liv and Raquel now 4-time champs, tag champs, if I'm not mistaken. And then, of course, for our main event gala of the evening, John Cena defeats Cody Rhodes to win the undisputed WWE Championship. 1.75 stars. And you can't really, I'd actually go lower. I mean, man, you could go lower on this. If you haven't yet, I really don't even suggest doing it, but you could watch this thing back a second time. And it's even worse than when you watched it live. It is so bad. So boring. And that's before you get to the finish. That is before you get to the finish. It is that bad. But 1.75, I disagree there. I say go lower. But that's Uncle Dave. That's Dave Meltzer's star ratings for Mania. If you agree, let me know. If you disagree, let me know. What do you think, guys? I'd like to hear your thoughts in the chat. Hit that subscribe. Give me a like here. Follow us over on X at Locked On Wrestling Show. Greatly appreciated. Love to hear all your thoughts here in the comments. But there are Dave Meltzer's star ratings for WrestleMania 41. So we're going to look here. We're going to see what kind of other news we got going on in the world of wrestling. Bandito set for a CMLL return. Don't know who he is. Don't care. I will be interested in this AAA acquisition, what they're going to be doing there. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't know a ton about it. If there's any matches you think I must watch matches for whether it be AAA or CMLL, I know they're more aligned with AEW, but that's fine. I'd like to cover AEW more than I do. I really don't at all. I just haven't. Last I left that company, I was really invested there for a while with them a few years ago, and then it kind of all fell apart. I thought they were doing some good stuff, especially when Punk was there. And then it kind of fell apart for me personally. But hey, if there's some matches out there that are must-see in the AAA world, definitely let me know. I'd love to go back and watch those. And I see this Vikingo guy supposed to be the top dog down there to a certain degree. Del Rio ain't making the trip. I can tell you that much. I can't believe that I found out he's their champion. That's insane to me. I never liked him when he was in WWE. He was boring. WWE star Penta also has discussed potentially removing his mask. WWE's Penta has opened up about the idea of removing his mask and discussed the possibility of a mask versus mask match, even naming one of his dream opponents. Well, we will check this out real quick. You know, Penta is one of several masked wrestlers currently in the WWE roster, and he has become one of the most popular ones, perhaps just behind Rey Mysterio in popularity. I guess. WWE Raw recently spoke to WWE D-Quack, whatever that is, where he was asked if he would ever remove his mask. The former AEW star stated that he presently doesn't have any plans to do it. However, he could when the time is right. He also has an opponent in mind for his mask versus mask match. So we'll read that quote here from Penta real quick. Again, hit that like, hit that subscribe. This is a good question, Penta says. In the present, no. I don't know. 10 years or more, I could. Definitely. I like it. Maybe mask versus mask versus hair, or mask versus something, you know. It has to be something special. You know what my dream match versus mask versus mask is, you guess? Would be Rey Fenix. His brother. This is my dream match. Penta versus Phoenix. Mask versus mask. I don't know when it will happen. Maybe only in my mind it happens. But maybe in 10 years or 15 years. Holy shit, I may not be here, Penta. A little bit quicker than that there, buddy. But I don't know if you guys saw it. Hell, it may have been a fake meme. I don't know. But it looked like Dom was tweeting in Spanish to Penta about being a wuss and put your mask on the line and I'll put my hair on the line. A mask versus hair with Penta versus Dom. Obviously, I feel like they could build that. I think they could actually run that angle. And, of course, it would be Dom getting the hair chopped, which may be time. I'm tired of the Eddie look. Or maybe they try to get that off of him, turn him babyface. But he looks like at least he looks like a man with that hair. When he first broke in, he looked like a little baby doll. But there's that. Penta saying if he ever did a mask versus mask, it would be with his brother Rey Fenix, which would be something for sure. AEW's Chris Jericho wants to see a documentary on this WWE feud of his. The feud with Shawn Michaels in 2008 is, I think, one of the greatest feuds in WWE history, Jericho said. They should put together a Netflix documentary about that, about how to have a great feud. I don't disagree. Actually, you don't even have to show us. Show the freaking talent. Show creative. Show Triple H, who apparently has forgot how to book a good feud. Who clearly doesn't know how to book heat. We need someone that knows how to book heat. Because we don't see a ton of it. John Cena's getting no heat right now. He's not booked for heat. He's going out cutting promos. He's not booking heat, man. I want some heat. Do something to piss us off. Do something where they're genuinely booing you out of these arenas, Cena. All these roast battles do is make the fans laugh. It doesn't piss anybody off. Make them go, whoa, what a mic battle. Oh, God. Whoa. No. Do something to garner heat. Heat sells tickets, man. Heat equals viewers. I'm not saying you can't have promo battles. But we need some freaking heat here, man. So Jericho thinks they need to make a documentary about his 2008 feud with the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels. I'd watch it. I'm surprised it's not on that Rivals show. But Jericho needs to quit fooling with these people. Like, I don't necessarily want to see him wrestle in WWE again. He's so old. He looks awful. But I wouldn't mind having him back in some capacity doing something. Whether that's a mouthpiece for some young talents, as a manager. But I'd definitely like to see him get his day in the sun at Hall of Fame. I think we'll eventually get that. But just quit. Quit wrestling. Get out of there. I'm sure you'd love to see a lot of these documentaries, but they're probably not going to happen because you're currently signed to the competition. So get out of there. Come on home, man. Charlotte Flair says that WWE needs more women's stories, main events, even if Evolution returns. I agree. Tiffany Stratton, so let's see here. 14-time Women's World Champion Charlotte Flair was again involved in the championship scene during this year's WrestleMania, taking on Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's World Championship in a losing effort. However, before the grandest stage of them all, Flair commented on the future of storytelling in the women's division and commented on the potential return of Evolution. Like, I hear all these rumors. This is Flair. Like, I hear all these rumors. So, I mean, it's been, a couple of years, so I think it would be a good time to start it up again. Flair explained in an interview with Denise Salcedo. Overall, really, it's just more about having more women's storylines and more women's main events. She further explained that whether or not Evolution is brought back, the women's division needs more exposure regardless, but noted that the show must be the best platform for them to do that. I don't disagree, but it's the same thing with Cena. There's no heat being booked. There's no reason to care. There's so much women's talent. It is so stacked right now, folks. I think we all know that. We saw what NXT's working with, what they're bringing up. Yeah. Let's get somebody with a pencil that knows how to book heat. Book something intriguing. And I agree. These women, I mean, I said it earlier, the now 5-star per Dave Meltzer triple threat women's match that opened night 2 of WrestleMania should have been the main event of night 2. It's not going to be. That's too much. There's so much marquee value with Cody versus Cena. But at the end of the day, it could have, let's say that match went on last, had an extra 15 minutes tacked on. We're looking at Mania, coming out of Mania looking totally different. Or here's a thing. Night 1's always a woman's main event. Night 2's always a men's main event. Do it that way. But the one time we got a main event at Mania for the women, it was okay. It was all right. Flair, Becky, and Rousey. It was okay. Nothing to write home about. Becky got her big win, but there's just so much talent, man. There's talent on the men's side. There's talent on the women's side. I think there's more talent on the women's side. The women seem to get it more. That's how I feel watching like Rhea and Asuka, Bianca. Like, they get it, man. You saw Rhea on Raw had the black eye from Mania. Bianca's in there laying them in strong. Like, they get it. We know it. We know it's a work. We know you're working. But that don't mean you can't lay some shit in stiff. It makes it look better. So much better than this, whatever the hell Naomi did on SmackDown. God, that's going to haunt my dreams for a long time. That had to be one of the worst ground and pounds. You can't even call it that. Let's be honest. You cannot even call it that. And John Cena, with his lack of heat, he's never going to be a heel, man. He's not even a heel right now. He can go up there and talk about the kids, the fans, flicking people off. Kids flicked him off. Like, come on. You got no heat, bro. Nobody's booking you for heat, and you're not telling them to do it. You're smart enough. You've been in this game long enough to know, hey, I need to do something with some heat here. I got to get heat somehow. I got to do something dastardly and heelish to make them hate me. Because they're not hating me. They're up there. They're chilling. They're cheering. They're half cheering. They're half booing. They ain't there. They know that I'm just putting on a show. And I'm pretending to be a heel. This is another role. This is me trying to be a peacemaker. At least Rollins, from what I could tell, I may be remembering wrong from Raw, but I don't think he was walking out doing the goofy dance and the goofy strut, the goofy facials. Pretty sure he just walked straight out with Heyman, I believe, right? That's what I'm talking about. And then what they do, they get heat. They go, a bright breaker shows up, boom, bang, boom. They got heat in the finish at Mania with the double cross. And I expect that angle, the way it's playing out now, to get more actual heat. Maybe we really screw Punk up in the back, beat him down. Maybe they do one of them deals like they did with Owens and Cody, where it's all getting picked up on fan footage. Anything. Begging you. Do something to bring heat. That's all this show's missing right now. We got all the talent. We got talent for days. We're up to our eyeballs in talent. Now have some talent on the booking committee, on the creative team. Triple H wants to come out there and stroke himself every time, oh, it's a new revolution, it's a new era. Oh. The booking's been weak, man. I know it's better. Yeah, it's better than Vince, but it's been weak. And I know there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff we don't know. I don't know if there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, but there's no heat. Thanks for the comment, Morel. He wants to see Rhea versus Roxana Perez. Yeah. We're up to our talent and eyeballs in the female division, I'm telling you. We got more we know what to do with right now. And then they're bringing up Stephanie Vaquer. There's that other girl, Soul. What's her name? Soul Luca. She's dope. Man, that Fatal 4-Way on NXT Stand and Deliver day before night one. Hell of a match. Fatal 4-Way. Hell of a match. I could probably bring up the NXT results, but I didn't watch all that. I think that was a 4-star rating for Meltzer. It was probably closer to a 5-star match, that Fatal 4-Way women's match. It was a hell of a match. Vaquer is main event all over her. As soon as they're ready to bring her up, pull the trigger, she's going to be in that women's world title picture. I say move Jade Cargill down to the women's U.S. picture. She's too freaking green. I know she's got a great look. I know people knew her, the marks know her from AEW, smart marks. Man, she ain't ready. Put her down there with the U.S. women's title division. Let her learn. She's young. Give her time. She'll get there, hopefully. Or if not, she'll just go away. We won't care anymore. But it won't be from lack of booking. We can book her to wear a U.S. title belt. They already had her with a tag title belt. And if we're just going to pull the trigger on straight singles run for her now, which is fine, put her in a division that makes sense for her skill level. Morel, thank you for the comment, man. Hit that subscribe for me. But he thinks that WWE is going to have Rhea Ripley going over for the win at Backlash vs. EO. Yeah, I can see that. I like EO, though. I ain't hating on EO. And Rhea's one that's had the belt a lot. So why not let somebody roll with it for a while? I mean, heck, how long did Rhea have it? She had it a few months. Liv carried it most of the year. I like Liv, and I feel like they're getting her out of the title picture, and she was a pretty good champ. Real good chicken shit hill champ. But I want to. I don't mind seeing Rhea come up. But I mean, Io's got it, man. She's really good. I hate that there's a little break in translation there. Things get lost in translation. She can't really cut promos and stuff like that. Something that sucks. But that's why we used to get mouthpieces for people. Andre couldn't talk worth a shit either. That's why they got a mouthpiece for him. When it mattered more. You know? Yoko could actually talk, but what do they still do? Got a mouthpiece for him. Brock can talk enough, but got a mouthpiece for him. We just got such a lack of managers that they could have. Let's think. See if you had just a quality group of managers in WWE. How much it would help some of these younger talents. They all for the most part can wrestle minus Jade Cargill. Granted, she's getting there. She's not as bad as she once was. Most of these guys and gals can wrestle, but they can't talk. They can't really entertain, and most of them don't have a lot of charisma. When they're doing their little backstage acting segments, they come off so bad, they come out like they're shooting a porno. If we had more mouthpieces for these guys, then man, we might be on to something, you know? Thanks again, everybody, for joining in. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. We're going to hang out for a little bit while longer. Let me know your thoughts on SmackDown. Let me know your thoughts on Raw. What do you think's going to happen tomorrow night on Raw? I'm looking forward to Raw. The way we ended Raw last week, I'm really looking forward. I hope they keep maintaining that level. They showed us they could do it. SmackDown was a letdown. I thought maybe we'd get a good show on the same level of Raw. Granted, we got a debut. We had a really good TLC match. But something was missing that Raw had. So I'm really hoping we get another quality Raw they can build upon. And let's book some heat, man. Please, for the love of God. Please. I want to see where all this goes. I guess Cody's pretty much Cody must be taking a sabbatical, guys. How long do you think Cody's been gone? You think he shows back up at Backlash? You think it's going to be a little longer than that? The guy deserves I think we can all agree Cody deserved a vacation. Been working pretty hard for the last few years. Through injuries, so on and so forth. He's been working hard. The dude doesn't turn down an interview. Hell, he may even be on this channel one day doing an interview with us. We'll see. But I don't see Cody showing back up tomorrow night either. I don't want him to. I want him to stay gone a while and then show up in a moment you're not expecting, to give him a little buzz. Because right now we don't need Cody Rhodes. Cena and Orton are off to the races. Seth, Punk, and Roman got all their stuff going on. I'd like to see Heyman's Dangerous Alliance add a few more to the stable. I think Becky's our next addition there. We may get that on Raw. I wouldn't be shocked to see that on Raw tomorrow night, folks. Becky getting added, joining alliances with her husband, Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Paul Heyman. But I'm looking to see where that's going to Backlash at. What's going to happen there? Who's got the most to gain in a fight? Is it going to be Seth versus Roman? Or are we getting a tag match? We getting Breaker and Seth versus Punk and Roman? Because how does Punk and Roman coexist? That's going to be something fun to check out there too. Because they've all but turned Roman completely babyface again. They're still pushing on it. I don't think we'll ever get white meat babyface Roman. Thank God, because it was awful for all those years. That literally killed the product. I cared nothing about watching the product back at that point. If you're in the chat, say hello. Drop a question. Drop a comment. Make sure to hit that like button on there for me, guys. It's real easy. Tap subscribe. It's real easy. If you like what I have to say or you want to hear what I have to say in the future, help this channel grow. Would mean so much. Usually on Sunday Night Heat, I'd have a guest of mine with me, KB, but he had a family emergency this morning that kept him away tonight, but he'll be back. He'll be with us next week. Also announcing on Thursday, going to be doing a Thursday Raw Thursday is what we're going to be calling it. We'll be another guest, a friend of mine, Trey, is going to be on here talking about that. I'll be live again tomorrow night with instant reactions for Raw. So we're going to go live right when Raw goes off the air tomorrow night. So be sure to turn in. So hopefully we have a really good Raw. That's what we're kind of talking about now. Hopefully it's something worth talking about. But again, thank you guys for joining in tonight. Appreciate it. That's pretty much all I got. Make sure to go over to Twitter or X and like us at Locked On Wrestling Show. Again, subscribe here to this channel. Hit that notification bell. And have a wonderful week, guys. Have a great Monday. Take care.